Okay, join me for the math on the spot video. You're going to need scratch paper, and I would get the graph paper scratch paper for this one. If you don't have any, please pause your video, go get some, and then you can jump back in. Here we go.
You know, numbers are all around us all the time. But the great thing is we can visualize those numbers by looking at various graphs and looking at various tables and looking at various ways of representing the numbers we see. In fact, what I want to do is actually show you a really interesting example of what's called a histogram, which is a way of actually representing lots of numbers and making meaning of data. Let's have a look together. So, this histogram shows the hourly salaries to the nearest dollar of the employees at a small company. Our challenge is to write and answer a question that uses the histogram. Now, so what is a histogram? Well, a histogram really is just a bar graph, as you can see here. So we just have these bars, and the bars indicate kind of the frequency. So you see here in the y-axis with the frequency, and the x-axis we have whatever we're measuring, in this case hourly salaries. And so what this means is that between $10 and $14 an hour, we have a total of 2 individuals. So there are 2 individuals at this small company that make somewhere between $10 and $14 an hour. That's what this means. There are, for example, right between 4 and 5, 4 and 6, that's 5. So there are 5 individuals that make between $15 and $19 per hour. So the height of the bar gives you the frequency or the number of individuals that are relevant to that particular measurement here. So for example, in the range of $20 to $24 per hour, we see that there are 10. So 10 individuals at the small company actually are earning that amount. So it's interesting to see the frequency of the data intervals has no gaps. So this is a bar graph where there are no gaps in between. The bars just push up right against each other. That's a feature of a histogram. And we also see that the histogram shows the number of people who make an hourly salary in different intervals, but doesn't say how many people make a particular salary, like $30 an hour. We don't know that. We just have a range of $30 to $34. That's a range, and that's what that bar represents. You can see a lot just by looking at the data. I mean, for example, one thing we can see is that the most frequent interval, which is the tallest interval, or the interval that's most populated, is the $25 to $29 an hour range. We can see 12 people make that much, and that's the most frequent because that's the highest bar. We could also just look at the picture and see immediately what the least frequent interval is. That's the $10 to $14 range, and we can see that because, in fact, that's the bar that's the least high. That's the lowest bar. So the height of the bars tell you how popular those intervals are. So that's what a histogram really represents. Now, we need to think of a question. Well, what question could we ask? Well, we could say, well, how many individuals, how many workers at this small company make an hourly wage of $30 or more? We could ask that question. We could ask how many make an hourly wage of $30, because we don't know that. But we could say $30 or more. So why don't we just have that be our question? So here's a possible question. How many employees make an hourly salary of $30 per hour or more? $30 per hour or more. Now, how can we visualize that? Well, one way to think about that is to say, okay, so what are we trying to do? Here's $30 or more. So here's $30 or more in this range. So we want to see how many people populate this range. So we can look at each one of these bars and see how many people it represents. So for the first bar, notice that's between 8 and 10, so that would be 9 individuals. Here, this bar, between $35 and $39, that's represented by 6 individuals, so 6 people earn that hourly salary range. And then we have this many people between 2 and 4, that's 3, that have a range of $40 to $44 an hour. That's a lot of money, by the way. That's impressive. So we have 9 in this range, 6 in this range, and 3 in this range. If we add up those numbers, if we add up 9 plus 6 plus 3, that will represent the number of employees that make $30 or more an hour. And what's 9 plus 6 plus 3? Well, that's 18. And so the answer to our question is 18 employees. And you see how we actually used employees. That wasn't very pretty, is it? Not a very pretty answer. In fact, I'm making it worse. You know what? Neatness should count. Neatness really should count. So I know you're saying, really? And I'm like, yes. Oh, yeah, there we go, much better. So we see by looking at this histogram that just by looking at the height of the bars and reading off the frequency, we can actually answer a question that maybe is surprising to think that we could answer. But just knowing this information, we can say that there are 18 employees that have an hourly salary of $30 an hour or more. Well, this is the power of looking at data visually, in particular looking at, say, a histogram. It allows us to see the most popular, the least popular, and trends across different intervals. We can actually predict things, we can see things, and we can actually understand things that much better. Histograms are important and powerful ways of visualizing data. And I hope that you will start enjoying different visualizations of the data in your life. And I'll see you soon.